Hello and welcome back to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast. It's Stacey Heine, your holistic nutritionist, plant-based coach, and lifestyle wellness mentor. I hope that you are having the best day ever. I am excited to tell you about today's guest. If you've been around for a little bit, you might have heard me talking about this waterless beauty brand that I have been quite obsessed with. And today we have the founder of Olive Tree People on the Urban Pharmacy Podcast. So this waterless beauty concept, it's nothing new in Europe. It's actually 20 years old, and you're going to be learning all about it today in this podcast. But I really wanted to have Thomas Lommel on to learn about his story and where this brand started and how he created his own business of healing skincare and internal products that actually help people from the inside out and the outside in. And his story is quite magnificent. You will hear it. Olive tree therapy is what you're going to be learning about and what Thomas Lommel founded Olive Tree People on. And he is actually the owner of the olive groves, that all of these products that I've been using, these internal products and these topical skincare products, he's the farmer, he's the olive tree farmer. And he created all of these beautiful products from his amazing groves in Spain. He also learned a lot about Mediterranean Ayurvedic medicine, and you're going to hear all about his journey there. So before I get into the episode, I just want to make sure you know that if you have not switched to waterless skincare yet, now is your sign. This is your sign to do so, because you are going to get wonderful results from this anti-inflammatory based skincare line. It is all based on the olive leaf elixir, which is highly, highly anti-inflammatory and wonderfully nourishing for your skin. There's also internal products that I've been taking, which you're going to be hearing more about in this episode. And if you want to get all the goods, all you have to do is click down in the show notes to grab it all. It's always free shipping on $50 orders. And if you take the Olive Brain Skin Quiz, which I will link for you, and buy 2 of the recommendations, you will get a free $70 eye product, either an eye elixir or an eye cream that is all based on the beautiful olive leaf. And without further ado, here is Thomas Lommel. Thomas Lommel, welcome to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast. I'm thrilled to have you here.
So happy to be with you, Stacey. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I am so excited because I want to talk to you about your story. I want to talk about the olive tree today. I want to hear about that. And then also the story of the brands that you've created in your entrepreneurial journey. So I would love to just start off though with your background and kind of who you are, and also a little bit about how you found farming, because we are farmers ourselves here in Indiana. We farm organic crops for the farmers market. And I want to know how you found the olive tree and if you were a farmer before that or how that all kind of unfolded.
Such a beautiful question. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because it was, some people, when they see my signature in my emails, it's not founder or CEO, it's olive tree farmer. So I'm really proud to be, after so many years, an olive tree farmer, because that was really a big dream of me after I healed myself with the power of the olive tree. So it's also so beautiful. I had no idea from farming. I don't know what about you. So I had no idea from farming. I had no idea from eye creams. I had only this beautiful dream to be an olive tree farmer after I healed myself with the power of the olive tree. And Stacey, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't exist anymore with the power of the olive, without the power of the olive tree. So to jump very quick in, I was really successful in real estate, and then I had with an age of the beginning of 30, I had really a huge break. So everything. And one big thing was I had big issues in my intestines. And as I said, I used a very, how can I say, strong medicines, cortisons, and a lot of other things. And always when I stopped, it became worse and bigger and, not the good direction.
Mm-hmm.
And and then the olive tree came up. It's not like these. I had a dream mid-20. I don't know why it came up to be an olive tree farmer in Greek with organic olive oil and that kind of things, but only for a moment. And that came back, and then it was also so exciting. I was end of 20 with my girlfriend by an do you say astrological
Astrological.
Yeah, right. Okay. And she was asking, hey, what I'm doing, and I was really proud because I was really successful. I told the lady what I'm doing, and she said, oh, what I see is something with creative, with earth, with soil, with a complete and I didn't understood that, and all that came up with beginning of 30, so 32, 33, and that then in that hard time, in that really hard time, that immediately makes sense. So because it's like a puzzle. So the olive tree came up. These words from these ladies came up because she said something with soil and with creative things, and then I healed myself with the power of the olive tree. Think about that. I had no idea, but I was very, I dived into this beautiful world of nature. And honestly, I was not connected, but I start connecting more and more. And when I was connected, it completely changed my life, completely.
Wow.
So, and after 176 days, I was completely regenerated, and in these times, I also start connecting from Germany with my olive trees, not my olive trees, I start my olive tree meditation, for example, in these days. And later, when we connect the trees with the frequency, that is 2015. So that is, I would say, 15 or 20 years later, I realized that it was not only internally. So I changed in these very challenging times my frequency because I dived in and I really deeply believe in nature. There is nothing more than nature. And that is a very important part that healed me too, from the inside out. And the frequency I changed, that is what,
wow,
brought me also here to Los Angeles. I wouldn't be here today in Los Angeles without the olive tree.
So you're from Germany.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And so you healed. Now, were you taking, let's get a little specific because I want to know how you healed. I mean, obviously we know, and this is something that I actually teach my wellness clients as well, my nutrition clients. Yeah. It is, you got to get outside. Like one of the pillars of my brand is honoring earth. And we have to really connect. It's not just taking the herbs and using the plants to heal. It's literally going outside. It's putting our feet on the earth. It's touching the trees. It's, connecting with nature. It's so incredibly important. So you healed. Let's get a little bit more specific with that. You said the frequencies and all of that, but like, were you taking the ground up, olive leaf specifically? Was it the olive oil, the olive leaf, the bark extract? Was it, get a little bit more specific with that?
Absolutely. So honestly, I did what a lot of amazing researchers recommend today intuitively. I increased from 0 to 50 liter a year my olive oil consumption. I don't know why. I read a book in that time from the lady. She created our first book many years later. So Birgit Frohn, she's a best-selling author in Germany. And so I increased my olive oil consumption. And I didn't know about, in that time, about hydroxytyrosol. So these amazing polyphenol inside of the tree, and only inside of the tree, but also inside of the fruits, and for sure inside of the oil. And I find out that later. And so I increased that, but not only internally, also externally. Mm-hmm. So at this time, imagine I was a young guy with my beginning 30s, and I had really bad skin. I couldn't sleep on my hard side. I had really big issues internally, and I used these bad medicine without any success. So then I have to find alternatives, and that was so exciting, because if you become more and more sensitive, you feel always little changes. Mm-hmm. And that was so exciting to me, because I felt that I did many steps when I did all that, what I did, using the oil internally, externally, 50 liter. So what today people recommend a liter a week. So that would be 52. I had 50, and externally also with an amazing good olive oil. And then I start my meditation with the trees, and then some numbers came up, and I couldn't believe that this is possible to connect with plants. And then I read my first small book about communication between humans and plants, and it completely blows me away, because all the experience I had, I read in that book. So, and that really changed my life. So that I became from an unbeliever, or how do you say that, to a completely believer into nature. Mm-hmm. So, and then my dream came up, and I said, I want to follow the path of the trees, of these incredible trees. And I had no idea how. Because producing olive oil, that is really super challenging also in Europe, because the prices are very down, and that kind of thing. So, and then I started my trip, and I followed the trees, the path of the trees, very intuitively. And in the south of Italy, then I find this amazing lady, Valeria. And she said to me, Thomas, what's healed you is up to 3,000 times. And she showed me an olive branch. It's up to 3,000 times more in the olive leaves, and I healed myself. And she was talking about, for example, hydroxytyrosol. And the idea was born to create something around these amazing leaves. Mm-hmm. If you ask today people about the olive tree, only one thing came up, it's olive oil. No one is talking about olive leaves. Right. And it was same for me. So it was super exciting. And then, long story short, I create my my first elixir in my treehouse. I was on the way to my friend Joaquin, so from the south of Italy to south of Spain, all with my car, and I bought my first small olive grove with around 120 trees. Today we have more than 30,000 trees. So, and I built my tree house, because I want to be very close with my trees, and I want to study the trees. And I create my first product, the IO1, and that has nothing to do with skincare. it is an ingestible. So it is what Valeria showed me, what has a long tradition in the Mediterranean. And the old ladies or the old people in families, they create that every morning fresh from the leaves. And that, makes them healthy over so many years. Yeah, and that was the start creating, later skincare also.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So, and I'm fascinated that you knew about Camu Camu 20 years ago.
Yeah. Camu Camu that is also what I learned. So I learned a lot of plant synergism. I would say if you dive into nature, we all learn about synergy. And that is also what, and that is what I really love in nature, because nature is so clear and nature is so simple. And we humans, we overcomplicated all these things. But when I asked first Valeria, and I asked, hey, Valeria, now we have these elixir, and that is so amazing. We had unbelievable reviews. And then I said, I want to do something like an olive tree therapy. So as a Mediterranean answer to Ayurveda. And so for that, I need creams. Do you have an idea what I can put together? Because I cannot only build a cream from the olive tree. And she said, Thomas, it's very simple. Go to your trees and look what's growing around them. Because what's natural grows around them builds on a natural way synergy. So 1 + 1 is bigger than 3. That is one of our most important signs in our story. So there is 1 + 1 is bigger than 3. And that is natural synergy. And back to your question is the Camu Camu. So then I find out that the olive leaf builds an amazing synergy with vitamin C. So, and I don't want to put synthetic or something like that. We were looking about vitamin C, and the Camu Camu came up. The Camu Camu is the most vitamin C intense berry. And we brought that together with really amazing success.
So where did you start selling the IO1? How did you, because I've created products too. Like we created an elderberry syrup that I sell, and I started selling it off of my front doorstep. And now we ship it nationwide, but I know what it's like to create a product. And so how did you then, were you just like, okay, this is good, I'm going to give it to some people that I know? Or were you like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in stores? Or did you have this vision, Thomas, of creating one product and then adding on?
Yeah,
you had no idea.
No idea. No, because I had from that industry no idea. I was so naive. Do you say naive? Yeah. And I think on one way it's a good thing, because otherwise I wouldn't be here. So,
Yeah.
It's a good thing too. But anyway, I thought, Thomas, you only have to create the best product on planet, and then they are selling by themselves. It's not a problem. But it's not, because we are in such highly saturated industry, especially, I always say the skincare, especially the face, is the hardest market on that planet. Because, everyone has creams you have creams in your bathroom. You don't need a second or a third. Right. So, and it is so hard to come into woman's face, because it's also very intimidating and that kind of thing. So, that was so challenging. But how I start, also very simple. We sent out a few hundred bottles to family and friend, and to a few naturopaths and natural doctors in Switzerland and Germany. And then first nothing came back. And I thought, okay, I have to go back to what I know, maybe. And then came unbelievable reviews, really unbelievable reviews. And that brought me to that idea to create intuitively the olive tree therapy. And that is what I did. And 6 years later, we were on the beautiful island Mallorca, and we developed the Oliveda spa on Mallorca.
Okay.
And we invited people under the headline 10 years in 14 days. So we had big headlines in big magazines on that beautiful island. And it was also a lot of pressure because I didn't know if we really can fulfill. But, the feedback after the 2 weeks, so we sent the people before and after to the doctor because we really want to measure. And the feedback was phenomenal. And the results also, the doctor came always and say, hey, how is that possible? And it's all built on the power of nature, on the power of the olive tree and our products. So, and after this experience, I decided to go, to my home country, Germany, and start with selling over, retailers, and that is what we did.
And you did that just with the IO1?
No. We,
when you say olive tree therapy, and you had the people come and you created the Oliveda. So you were doing the internals more than the internal. You had maybe the beauty molecule.
We did what I did by myself. We really put the people into inside and outside into these amazing olive oil. Then we had the IO1. Then we had the mouth pulling, and then we had a few products, skincare products also. For example, what we also had, we had the grounded olive leaf. We did wraps with the olive leaves, or we have the black olives, so the ripe olives, the ripe olive mash. We did wraps, whole body wraps, for example, and we had, how do you say, Einläufe, do you know? Sorry, I didn't know. I do not know the name in English. Enema. We are the first company. Can you imagine that? I had no idea, but we were the first company. They did enema with extra virgin olive oil with tremendous success. So, and and then the big magazines came. So, for example, from Germany, the big magazines with all the journalists, and they also did before and after, and they create big stories because it's not only they not only feel it's a different, they saw written before and after 2 weeks such a tremendous difference.
Wow.
And when I always describe the intelligence of nature is we also measured, for example, cholesterol, and there is the good one, the HDL, and the bad one, the LDL. And that is what the doctor told me. And he said, what you did, not I, what the olive tree did, that is not possible for the there is medicine for bringing down the cholesterol, but the medicine only can bring down the cholesterol in total, and they cannot divide. And since 7,000 years, the olive tree divide and push the HDL and bring down the LDL. How amazing is that?
It's amazing. Plants are incredible.
And that is how I always describe the intelligence of nature. So I also describe the intelligence of nature if people say, hey, I'm using the IO1 and I had these and these effects. And I said, yes, that's the incredible thing of nature. If you really work with bioactive ingredients, so there is the intelligence inside, then the product find individual your spots and balance them out. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, the sophistication of like the cannabis plant, for instance, and the hemp plant, like there's all of these receptors within our body that need the plant medicine, and we just aren't finding it. We don't know about this amazing information and the healing properties of like the hemp plant and of the olive plant. I mean, we've heard about olive oil, yes, but like you said, Thomas, the hydroxytyrosol is like, and the oloripine is significantly higher in these leaves. So let's talk more about the leaves and the olive leaf concentrate and the olive leaf cell elixir and what in the world waterless beauty is. Because where did you come up with that? And why did you want to create waterless?
And that is also, I believe really, Stacy, in one thing. I believe if you really do what you love, and I deeply love what we are doing, and I deeply love every product we create in the last 20 years, then the things are, I had no idea at the beginning of 2003 that waterless will come up and to be a big thing in the future.
Yeah.
I had no idea. The only thing is what I find out when I did my research, after I had this success with my IO1, and I want to create a skincare, that there is water in every product. So in every product, if I looked on the shelf, you find agua or water on the first. So, and I didn't know what that means. And I said, okay, how much is that? How much water? And I asked estheticians, for example, and they came up and say, I don't know, but maybe 25% or something like that. So, and then I find out a few months later, it's not 25, it's 70% and sometimes more. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't believe that 70%. And the idea was born to say, hey, it makes completely sense. What's the best for inside should be maybe also the best for our biggest organs of skin. So why not putting out the water and bring in these elixir from the olive leaves, right? Mm-hmm. So at this time, I had no idea how a cream is built, that a cream always is built on emulsions. So emulsion means bring together the water molecule, if you build on water, and the oil molecule. Mm-hmm. So, and then I find that out, that all is built on an emulsion. And I said, okay, then we bring the elixir from our leaves together with the arbequina, the cold pressed. And later I find out that the most skincare brands with water on the first, they have refined oils. They have desodorant oils. They do have not a high quality cold pressed bioactive oil. And, we all wouldn't use these kind of oils in our diet, in our kitchen. Mm-hmm. And so I say, what I wouldn't eat, why should I put that, why should I feed our biggest organ the skin with? That makes no sense, right? So, and that was how we start building our products. And with tremendous success, because people are really excited about the before and after. And I think it's also great to have these before and after what we did in the olive tree therapy in the Oliveda spa in Mallorca, confirmed by conventional medicine. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah. And so you had success with this waterless beauty. I mean, and let me just speak from experience. I tried the cleanser, this cleansing gel, and immediately, not only did it smell amazing, but like it felt different on my skin. It just people need to experience this. And like you guys have said in videos and stuff, like this is actually the best kept secret that Europe has had for the last 20 years. Like we really have been missing out over here in the US on some actual quality skincare. And like, I know a lot of people in my circle, farmers and stuff like that are using like tallow and just raw materials for their skincare. They're super crunchy, if you will. They're super crunchy girls. And really we should be using just whole plant material. We should be using not watered down and refined and dead, like you say, skin products. I mean, our skin is a living organ and we need to be putting on amazing high antioxidant ingredients on it. So there's even studies, Thomas, showing us like the benefits of the anti-inflammatory properties of using olive leaf and olive leaf concentrate even on the skin topically. So this is not just, I mean, your intuition was right years and years ago. Now there's, scientific evidence showing us the benefits of it.
I believe, Stacy, if we really reconnect, that our intuition is always right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not only, if we reconnect, we have the right intuition, and we know, and it's so simple. We know, and we can feel, and we can smell what's good and what's not good. So, for example, I did many years ago, I did with every week with around 30 people blind tastings with olive oil, because people came and say, "Hey, Thomas, how can I find out on a shelf with 40 extra virgin olive oils what's good and what is not good?" And the answer is, why do we have our senses? We have our senses to find out, to survive, to find out what's good and what is maybe not so good for us, right?
Yeah.
So, and after 2 hours, I would say 95% of the people, they definitely find out the bad. We always had a bad oil inside of the group in the blind testing, and the good ones. We can smell it, we can taste it, and we can feel it.
Yeah.
And that is what we also do in our, we have own stores also, so own flagship stores in Germany. And what we do every month, we have glow workshops. And on the glow workshops, it's also always exciting. We bring a refined oil and a bioactive. And if people can feel the difference, they are in, And if they feel the difference between that, a refined oil, for example, stands on the skin, doesn't penetrate so fast, and a bioactive works on a complete different way. So that is how simple we can find out what's good and what maybe is not so good.
Yeah. When did you create the beauty molecule? How was that soon after you created the IO1, or was that later on in the journey?
No, the beauty molecule has the number 70, and the first product is the IO1, so the first product. Yeah. So it is the 7T product I created. Wow. And before the I-70, I create the I-66, that is the beauty fountain. Mm-hmm. And I really love that product too. And the most important in our liquid beauty inside products is the hydroxytrosol. Right. Because the hydroxytrosol, we worked with the hydroxytrosol when no one was talking about hydroxytrosol. Mm-hmm. And now the FDA and the ESPA, they came up and they said, if you use, for example, 5.3 milligram a day, you have the perfect cell protection. Mm-hmm. So how amazing is that? Mm-hmm. And we have in our products, I think 6.3 by a daily shot. So that means if I protect my cells and then bring in the beauty molecules we have on a natural way also, but we lose about the oxidation, then it can stay a little bit longer than if the protection would not be that way, Right. Because the oxidation is much higher. And so I think for that, it is very important that we have these combination. And we are the only company on the planet to combine hyaluronic, for example, with the hydroxytrosol.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I've been taking it just for a few weeks and I absolutely love it. I also have, there's just evidence. I'm just going to implore anybody who is listening to this podcast to go to PubMed or just to do a quick Google search and search hydroxytyrosol or hydroxytrosol.
Yeah.
We say it in a little bit different way, but it's the same word. And look at all the benefits when it comes to your internal use and the topical use, and how incredibly high in antioxidants this leaf is. I really love the matcha very much. I love it so much. That was probably an early on product, right? I don't know if I have all the numbers memorized yet.
No, it's you're absolutely right. As I said at the beginning, we did our full body wraps with the matcha. So we grounded the olive leaves, and then later on, I find out that the grounded olive leaf is not so bitter than if you would use the leaves as a tea. And so the matcha was created, and we are, we're the first company with the olive leaf matcha. And that's a great product too. I love them too.
It's incredibly good. It's really, really good mixed half and half with the olive mush.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very, very good. This mushroom coffee, when did you come up with that? Let's talk a little bit more about the products before we wrap up. Who gave you that idea?
The olive mush came up here in 2022. And when I saw other coffee replacements, and that is a huge industry here in US, but I feel also in Europe in the future, because more and more people they have, I don't know, anxiety if they have too much caffeine, for example, etc. So, and then I came up with, then the mushrooms also came. The mushrooms are so big, and I was remembering that we have in our trees and in our landscapes, we have for sure also mushrooms, and that builds also such a beautiful synergy. And that was the idea. So the olive mush is built on up to 50% of the olive leaf, and then with all the other incredible, beautiful ingredients, I would say all of them are superfoods.
Oh yeah, I mean every ingredient in there is. And as a nutritionist over here, I'm really, really picky about ingredients. And this is this mushroom coffee substitute is so clean. There's no salt added to it. A lot of times you'll even find salt or like oil solids. This is just incredibly clean, super potent and anti-inflammatory and Ayurvedic herbs, and it's chai inspired. It tastes like chai. It's just a really perfect balance, and we love it. And I have a lot of recipes that are gonna. I've been making. I even made a chocolate out of it, Thomas. I made chocolate with olive mush. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm over here recipe creating and very excited about it. Is there anything? Oh, can you tell us really quick before we wrap this up about LA Dope?
Yeah, LA Dope. It's also a beautiful brand I created here in the pandemic, I think, or 2019, quick before the pandemic. So LA Dope is inspired by my son because he is in the hemp industry here in Los Angeles. And we brought together the two oldest cultural plants, so the olive tree and the hemp. And it was so funny when we had an event 2019, we had the frequency and the sound of the hemp and of the tree. That was exciting.
Cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. And you can hear, for sure you can hear the difference.
Yeah.
And it's also so interesting always people asking, hey, what about if this tree sounds different than the other one? And I said, for sure, look at you and me, for example, we have different frequencies. We have different sounds, right? And the amazing thing in nature is that also in 10,000 years, the sound will be the same than today, and that is the power, the variability in nature, that, it goes so much deeper. And it's a difference if you hear a sound never change, and if you hear a recording maybe on YouTube or so, there is no possibility so that this frequency goes so deep than the sound from nature every day on a different way.
Yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful thing. So the LA Dope has internal and topical as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. We
Um,
have 9 products, and that is a beautiful holistic line with 9 products, 2 ingestibles, and 7 yeah, beautiful skincare products, and also a beautiful body cream and face products, and yeah, so it's a beautiful line and combine. I think we are the first line combine the hemp with the power of the olive tree.
awesome. It's amazing. And I just keep saying, okay, hold on, one more. But this is really getting toward the end. I want to know
Uh-huh.
why, Thomas, why did you decide to come to the US and share this as a direct to consumer model?
So first of all, it's about my son, because he lives here since 10 years, and then I have since I think 5 or 6 years I had my office here, and I always were thinking why not going to the US, but I